The National Prosecutor's Office has confirmed it. Information revealed by TV Republica about a network of smugglers who smuggle illegal immigrants from Belarus to Poland and further west into Europe is true. Investigators are looking into the details of the case. The Lublin subdivision of the Department for Organised Crime and Corruption of the National Prosecutor's Office is conducting a multi-threaded investigation into the participation and direction of activities in Poland and abroad of an organised international criminal group involved in organising the illegal crossing of the Polish-Belarusian border of citizens from countries in the Middle East and Africa. The information we have uncovered shows that one of the people who organised and participated in the smuggling people across the border with Belarus is Klementina Suchanov, currently an expert on both the Commission on Alleged Repressions under the Law and Justice government and the Commission on Russian and Belarusian Influence. This is an excerpt from correspondence Suchanov has had on the issue via internet messaging. It's me on Signal. I'm checking the possibilities of people. I can contact an Afghan woman who knows quite a few languages. She came here recently. However, she has a 3-month-old child and the other one is 5 years old, so she can help during the day. Klementina Suchanov appears in the prosecutor's files as a person who cooperated with the border group and other members of the network in organising the smuggling of migrants. She was supposed to facilitate their illegal crossing of the Polish-Belarusian border and help transport them to Western Europe, in particular to Germany. The file mentions, in a similar context, the name of Bartosz Kramek of the Open Dialogue Foundation, who, according to our findings, was supposed to be the administrator of the group of couriers and smugglers. This is another piece of smuggling correspondence. The author of these words, Justina W., has already heard prosecutorial charges. Bartek Kramek talked to you about the action at the border. We need support. Let me make my point. We need to transport 9 people to Warsaw today or tomorrow. We're in Wrocław and we will be in Hajnówka tomorrow. We are driving 1 to 2 people at a time. We need more drivers. There are locals, however, no drivers. And another message that demonstrates the smugglers' frustration with the law and justice government's effective defence of the border. Hey, Tamara, we don't have the energy to meet today. We got back from the border at 4 a.m, but we need to talk because the plan has become outdated. Since the D*K signed the pushback law, then no TV on these borders will make an impact, and so they will take everyone out to the woods one by one. All of them. It is clear and should be clear that this was an operation managed by Moscow and Minsk. Unfortunately, many circles were part of this pattern of action against Poland and promoted or joined in the information war that was waged on this occasion. And clearly these people sabotaged the Polish government's efforts to protect Poland and the Polish border. Also appearing in the collected materials is the name of Paweł Kasprzak of the Citizens of Poland movement, an organization that was behind, among other things, the provocations known as the so-called Smolensk counter-protest. This is another piece of smuggling correspondence which Kasprzak writes about organizing the transportation of illegal immigrants to Germany. You can talk to Kramek. I will try tomorrow. I will contact some German organizations. Some kind of common policy should happen here. It can quietly succeed. Be careful. Take an extra phone and use it in these matters. In another excerpt, Kasprzak describes further details of the smuggling operation. It's worth communicating with Terry Reintke, a German MEP. Andrei Alboy from the Minority Rights Group organization is also active on the border. Maybe I will meet tomorrow in Michałów. There needs to be a joint voice from the transit and destination country. Talk to Michalski. He seems even created for that. Who is Michalski? Most likely the person in question is Marcin Michalski, who is a long-time associate of the Open Dialogue Foundation, also associated with the Committee for Defense of Democracy and the Beet Juice Hater site. He was the administrator of the social media profile.
Marcin
Michalski is a man who at the moment is actively raising money on X for a campaign supporting Rafał Trzaskowski, for billboards with Rafał Trzaskowski's image. We know that this is a man who is strongly associated with the so-called NGO lagging. At issue are billboards that depict on the one hand Rafał Trzaskowski and his wife against a backdrop of crowds of people, and on the other, in dark colours, Grzegorz Braun, Sławomir Mencen, Karol Nawrocki and Vladimir Putin, dressed in dark shirts referring to one of the totalitarian regimes. Yesterday, Michalski unveiled an updated version of the billboard with Jarosław Kaczynski appearing in the place of Sławomir Mencen. I love the smell of right-wing terror in the evening. For the first 10 carriers already collected, bravo you. Let's fly further.
Uśmiechnięta Polska usiłuje nas przekonać o takiej
Smiling Poland
moralnej
tries to convince us of its moral
wyższości. Przekonuje, że to
superiority and to
PiS
convince us
dzieli
that it is
Polaków.
law and justice that divides
A to, w jaki
Poles.
sposób
And what it really looks
wygląda
like,
naprawdę,
what this
oczywiście
smiling
tak
Poland is
naprawdę
really
ta Polska,
smiling about, can be seen in the example of this
uśmiechnięta.
disgusting
Widać na
billboard.
przykładzie tego
Who is really
wrażliwego
trying to
billboardu,
divide Poles?
na
I leave
którym,
to your
z jednej
judgment.
strony-
A divided Poland is a weak Poland and one that Putin would certainly like. After all, there is no shortage of his real photos with Polish politicians in the archives. Apparently, however, Rafał Trzaskowski's staff has decided that recording them at this crucial moment in the election campaign would make many Poles realize who is really working hand in hand with the Russian dictator here.
To jest ostatni moment przed 1 czerwca. Znaczy, biedna nasza ojczyzna.
This is the last moment before June 1st. Let's not give Tusk and all those Russian spies a total El Dorado in our homeland. The presidential palace is the last blockade that is able to stop them, the last bastion, as Karol Nawrocki says. And let's fight to keep this last bastion, then make a counterattack. And these are today's photos. They feature Bartosz Kramak, one of the members of the illegal migrant smuggling mafia, during a meeting with the Polish Minister of Justice, Adam Bodnar. The so-called European elites are celebrating the outcome of the presidential election in Romania. With a huge mobilization of voters, Nicu Sordan, the mayor of Bucharest, described as a pro-European centrist, won, declaring a continuation of current domestic and foreign policies. The Romanian opposition doubted the official election result. In its view, there has been manipulation by other countries and international institutions, such as the European Union. George Simeon, who sensationally won the first round of elections but lost the second, accuses the authorities of violating democracy and announced a further struggle. The Liberal mayor of Bucharest, Nicu Sordan, won 53.6% of the vote. His rival, the Conservative George Simeon, 46.4%. The power camp took this as a signal to citizens nothing has changed. The message to foreign partners: we have public support. However, the head of the AUR party has doubts about the fairness of these elections. We have proven the influence on social network algorithms exerted by state actors such as the Republic of Moldova and France and non-state actors. The Supreme Court and the Constitutional Court must take this evidence into account. The annulment of the presidential election last December came as a shock. Romanians found that elites even wanted to decide who could and could not run in the elections. Public anger brought out Conservative George Simeon, who won the first round of the elections. This has spooked the European Union, which is interfering in the politics of member countries. We've seen time and time again the Commission turn a blind eye to Donald Tusk's illegal actions while treating the right-wing governments very harshly to the point of blocking our funding. So it is not just a judge but an actor that is trying to influence the results of elections in an unauthorized and illegal way. A body that is an emanation of the interests of 1.5 member states of Germany and France is making decisions that, if made by, for example, Russia, would be called hybrid war. Romanian authorities considered that the victory of Nicu Sordan ended a 6-month political crisis. So it is possible to continue on the path of EU mainstream. Will it actually be possible to overlook the opposition of nearly half of Romanians who voted in the elections? Will the EU elite decide the fate of a member state yet again? Liberal and leftist politicians talk about how foreign interference must be fought, and they are right. But they themselves also introduce such interference through their preeminence in the media among celebrities. Everyone always crosses over to the liberal side and censors dissenting voices. In Poland they are also trying, but we can do it because we are stronger. The elite won the elections in Romania, but not without huge support from abroad. Citizens who hoped for an improvement in the situation already feel cheated, deprived of their right to vote. If the authorities ignore them, the Romanian scenario we have been following since December could see a sequel.
It is to be the world's most advanced defense system. Its key components will be located in space. All this so that no one can directly threaten the United States with any missile attack. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced the start of construction of the Golden Dome, which is expected to be ready before the end of his term. What is this system, and why is it causing quite nervous reactions in Beijing, Moscow, and Iran? This was the biggest test of the world's only complex missile defense system. Last year, Iran launched several hundred missiles toward Israel. Most of them were intercepted and destroyed by the so-called Iron Dome.
Israel has multiple missile defense systems, and the world is paying a lot of attention to them as the Israel-Hamas war and the wider regional tensions escalated by it continue. Now, Israel's systems are broadly known under the name Iron Dome, but that's just one system. It targets short-range rockets, the kind that are typically fired by Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip or sometimes by Hezbollah in the north. Those missiles are intercepted by that system.
What Israel's Iron Dome can do with medium and short-range rockets has been the envy of many countries around the world for years. Europe has tried to build a similar system, but so far it has ended with announcements without specifics. In contrast, the Americans who co-developed the Iron Dome in Israel are just opening a new era in this field.
2, 1. Watchtower.
In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based.
The Golden Dome, the more than $170 billion system, is expected to cover not only the United States, but also Canada. Major U.S. arms manufacturers are participating in the project. According to announcements, part of the system will be placed in space, which has already attracted the attention of historians. The Strategic Defense Initiative, nicknamed the Star Wars, was a program announced in the early 1980s by President Reagan that was supposed to definitively bury the Soviet nuclear blackmail drive. It was Reagan who opted to build a system capable of knocking down missiles in space. The project was loudly criticized at the time by one of the senators, Joe Biden, and finally was extinguished a decade later by President Bill Clinton. Today, the construction plan is so ambitious that the dome is expected to be ready within the next 3 years.
We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland, and the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air.
The announcement of the Golden Dome plan prompted an immediate reaction from Beijing and Moscow, with both capitals declaring it an attempt to reactivate the arms race and a threat to global peace. This violates the principle that the security of all countries should not be threatened and undermines the global strategic balance and stability. China is seriously concerned about this. We urge the United States to abandon plans to develop and deploy a global missile defense system as soon as possible. This strategic balance is nothing more than depriving China of its main negotiating capability, which is the possession of nuclear warheads. The Americans can wipe out the arguments of strength of all opponents, whose potential has always had to be taken into account. The rise of the Golden Dome could prove to be a game changer, not only in terms of American security, but also in terms of negotiating position on the geopolitical stage. The Madame Tussauds Wax Figure Museum in London has unveiled a new statue of Britain's Princess of Wales. Kate Middleton is pictured in the evening dress she wore to King Charles's annual diplomatic reception in December 2023.
The Princess of Wales is wearing a beautiful dusky pink gown by the designer Jenny Packham. She's wearing the Lover's Knot tiara, which actually was worn by Diana's figure here at Madame Tussauds in the 1980s. She's wearing replica Greville diamond earrings, a Royal Victoria Order sash, and the Royal Family Order of Queen Elizabeth II. It took 12 months and around 20 artists to create every single detail of Catherine. So the hair, the skin colour, the eye colour, and then the costume as well. We had an in-house team working 5 months on replicating the costume because there are so many details that have to come together that we wanted the team to really get involved. So over 10 months, we've got the brand new figure that you see before us today.
A waxwork of Kate's husband and heir to the throne, Prince William, has also received an outfit change. His wax figure is now styled in a black Eid and Ravenscroft tuxedo and a white bow tie, along with replicas of his sash and army medals. The London tourist attraction first launched wax figures of William and Kate in April 2012, a year after their wedding. The Wax Museum's new Kate figure stands alongside Prince William at the Royal Palace Experience, a section that also includes waxworks of other royal dignitaries like King Charles and Queen Camilla.